Alright, guys, welcome to the podcast Off the Script. This podcast channel is being created to voice out unscripted opinions on the geopolitical issues. My goal of this podcast is to bring out ultimate truth in front of the people around the world so that they can make a proper dharmic based choices on their economic issues, on their family issues, be it their personal opinions. Just make use of the information that is being presented. Note, do not blindly follow what I say. Apply your thoughts, apply your brains, think what is beneficial for your nation, for your family, for your people, and then take the next step. Okay? Alright, so to begin with, today's topic is going to be why America cannot break into India's agriculture and dairy trade. America prides itself on being a global trade powerhouse. Yet, when it comes to agriculture and dairy industry, it hits a brick wall in India. This isn't about tariff alone. It is about ethics, authenticity, health, economics, and survival of hundreds of millions of people in India. For America, it may be a trade agreement, but for India, it is culture, it is rich heritage, and it is the livelihood of people that the government cannot put into stake. America's manufacturing gap in agriculture. Beyond corn, genetically modified crops, poultry, and dairy, the US has almost no global competitive agricultural manufacturing base. Even in what it does produce, the US struggles to match global prices. The reasons are high labor cost, that is 5 to 10 times higher cost than the countries like India or ASEAN. Over-reliance on subsidies. Without billions in government support, many US crops would be uncompetitive. Lots of subsidies are being used to make the produce efficient and cost effective in order to be consumed domestically. But when it comes to international market, providing subsidies doesn't make a good choice and it's not efficient. Currency inflation as a trade tool. This is the next thing and why it fails for agriculture. The US has historically weakened its currency to make exports cheaper. From ending the gold standard in 1971 to Plaza Accord in 1985 to quantitative easing after 2008 to COVID stimulus in 2020 and 2021, I'll give you numbers like more than $5 trillion were printed out of the reserves from thin air just to provide it to the people. And it was added to the debt of the nation. Now, how can you think economics can work in such an environment? Do you think it's going to work? No, it's not going to work. This works for manufactured goods but not for agriculture because countries like India or Brazil still produces cheaper due to the climatic advantages as well as cheaper labor costs. And the currency is not so much inflated, okay? Perishable goods lose any price edge through long distance shipping. Now think if America is producing something in the middle part or at the edge which is far away from the port, it has to first cover the distance towards the port, approximately 1500 2000 kilometers, and then the real shipment starts. So for perishable items, it is not that good. Next topic is the 7 core US agricultural exports and why India says no, right? So there has to be a reason why any country like India will accept your produce, and those reasons has to be substantial. America produces goods that is already being manufactured or grown inside the country like India. So if you lead a country which already produces the goods locally, why would you let another country with damaged products? I consider GMO products as damaged. Okay, it's genetically modified. It has repercussions in the health of people and in the health of next producers. So that is not good. So why would a country let anything like this parasitic products to get into their own country and demolish the entire economy? Cannot happen. You bring the business, You bring a proper outcome, you provide the advantage to the nation, only then you are going to be let in. This is called as trade. We are not here to suffice anyone's ego, alright? Alright, let's get started. The 7 core US agricultural products. Why India says no. Number one is dairy. US dairy. Let me put my phone on silent mode, okay? Alright. Sorry. Alright, the 7 core US agricultural produces and why India says no. Number one is dairy. US dairy cows are often fed meat and bone-based meals from other cows. This is called as cannibalistic approach of feeding, okay? This is unacceptable in India due to Hindu religious sentiments. We believe cow is our mother. You cut the cow, you get the flesh and meat out of it, you grind them bones, you provide a feed for the next cattle and you feed them. This is highly against the religious sentiments of people from India. We regard cows as our mother. However, Americans, you consume the milk, you then cut the cow and you eat the meat. In India, we believe that we do not cut our mothers and consume the meat of it, right? So that's the main reason. Number two, India's dairy sector is the largest in the world, supporting over 80 million rural households. Import of dairy products would threaten the livelihood of these people. 80 million is approximately one third of the entire US population. So no way Indian government can act against its own people and allow the products and produces of dairy from United States just for the sake of sufficing someone's ego, right? Again, I'm going to bring that part one more time, okay? Anyways, GMO products, genetically modified products, right? Like corn, soy, cotton. These products are engineered for yield and pest resistance. If you compare a GMO product with the organic one is going to it will decay faster. It will be attacked by pests faster. However, the inorganic, that is GMO based, right? Those products are made and engineered in a way where it resists or repels pests and it lasts for long, okay? The tomatoes, right? It will last for 1 month without rotting, okay? So these things, right? The GMO based engineered yield carries long term health risk. And the patent, right? The patent lock it has, it actually risks the future yield of the nations. You can hold a country on a chokehold by not providing them the seeds once they completely depend on you. That's the main reason, okay? India has strong grassroots resistance to GMO crops and bans most food related GM products and imports. Okay, we there is no concept of inorganic and organic in India because everything is organic. Okay, we do not entertain inorganic food. That's it. Period. Corn. Corn is overproduced due to subsidies provided in the United States of America. There are farms and farms and farms that produces corn just because they receive subsidies. Number two, the farmers have made huge investments on the technology, huge investments on the tools that they use, that is the tractors, trailers, and they have a pending loan based on their EMIs. What they do is they keep on producing it, keep on producing the corn, get the subsidies, and then finally what happens is what I'm going to say next. United States dumps over 6 million tons of corn into the ocean yearly. I need to reconfirm the fact. I think it is monthly, but for now I'll say yearly. Because using these corns for the cattle as a cattle feed has been linked to genetic mutations in the livestock. Meaning, if you feed these feed to your cattle, the offsprings that they produce next during the next reproductive cycle, the calves and the next livestock that comes from these cattle have genetic mutations like one eye is missing, there is one leg missing, or there are two extra legs and stuff, which is not good. Going to next point, that is soybeans. Mostly soybeans are GMO and used in feed and processed foods like tofu and whatnot, right? So there's another health risk. Like we go to restaurants, right? We don't know what byproduct are they using in the recipe or in the food that they're preparing for us. If they're using tofu, we don't know what kind of soybeans or tofu raw material are they using. and you just go and eat it, and that's it, gone. You have a health issue. India has domestic soy production and bans GMO food products again, right? We ban GMO food imports. Fifth item is wheat. US wheat is more expensive than Russia, Ukraine, and Australian wheat, okay? So, no competitive edge in the market. India is self sufficient and often becomes an exporter itself. So, if you yourself is an exporter, you yourself has a surplus of produce, why would you import that specific good from any other country? Does it make sense business wise and economically wise? No. This is not the art of deal, man. Anyways, cotton, right? This is the sixth product. US exports large quantities of GMO cottons, right? I think India has relaxed the cotton industry for America because it's not consumed, it is not being eaten, right? So it's just being used as clothes, as for the clothing industry. So I think I'll double check that fact and put it on the comment, okay? India is one of the top cotton producers. Again, importing US cotton would directly compete with millions of Indian farmers. Doesn't make any sense. You cannot jeopardize the future of the local manufacturers just for the sake of sufficing someone's ego, right? So it's a strict no. Seventh one is poultry. Heavily industrialized poultry farms, poultry producers of United States of America is heavily industrialized with hormone fed and antibiotic injected birds, which itself is not good for the health of human, because once you consume that, those chemicals, those genetically modified hormonal based products, byproducts that were used as a feed for the poultry, is going to get into your system, and then is going to act inside your body and result in undesired effect and consequences, okay? India bans hormone treated meat and has a thriving domestic poultry farm and sector. Again, there is a competition, so why would we let any country get into our market just for the sake of sufficing someone's ego? Again, I'm going to say that, fuck. Anyways, the bigger picture: food sovereignty and risk of dependence. Allowing large scale US agricultural imports could affect over 700 million people in India that depends on the agriculture industry for their income. Agriculture and dairy industry for their income. 700 million people is two times the population of United States of America. Now you tell me, art of the making deal. Hold on, what was that name? What was the name of the book? Uh, Trump book art. Okay, now you tell me, the writer of Art of the Deal, would you let any country get into your country's domestic business with their products? Would you let them create a storm in your own country, in your own country's industry, just because the other country says that, hey, we have something to offer you, but it's not going to be cost effective? Also, it's not going to be beneficial for the people, it's not going to be beneficial for the local producers that you have in your country. Are you going to let them get into your country? No, right? That's exactly what Narendra Modi is doing with his government, is not letting you in, okay? The risk is corporate capture, okay? I'll tell you the exact reason. The risk over here is corporate capture. Enter the market with lower prices, crush the local competition. Once the local competition vanishes, raise the prices. Once dependency is set, create a food choke point. India does not want a food choke point in their country. That is it, period. So, you try to come up with another book, try to come up with the Art of Deal Part 2, where you cover the sanctions and tariffs that you have been putting on the countries, where you cover the art of isolation that you have been doing to yourself, and then publish it so that we can learn what's your mindset, brother. This is why India treats agriculture not just as trade but as a national security. Period. The closing thought: for America, agriculture is a corporate industry. But for a country like India, it's the heartbeat of half of its population. The population that is double the size of the population of United States of America. Until this fundamental difference in priorities is resolved, America will remain on the outside, knocking on the door that India will never open. Okay? So that's the thing, that's the final verdict. Bring out another book called as Art of the Deal, with the use of isolating yourself and threatening other countries, and then we will see how to take it ahead. Thank you for listening to the Off the Script podcast. If you like the discussion, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what are the other topics that you want me to cover, and I will be really happy to put it in front of you. Okay? Again, this platform is being created to have unscripted opinions over geopolitical issues, and I'll be discussing more of such topics with you. Bring the truth in front of you. Hope you take those points into consideration and make a conscious decision towards your life, your family, and your society. I hope to see you guys again. In the meantime, take care and wish you luck. All the best.